Coming up on the Empowered Woman podcast.
You're in charge of your time. You have the complete autonomy for it. And you get to align yourself with people you want to work with. You get to spend that time with your family. You get to decide what level you want your business in, what makes sense for you, what is your life by design.
Welcome to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on visibility strategies for women entrepreneurs. If you want to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice and business, you're in the right place. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marcia Spurk, and I'm your host, professional singer and visibility strategist. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. Planning for your legacy should be empowering. That's why we've partnered with Tim Gorman, author of Tangled Legacy, Turning Estate Planning Mistakes into Successes, your essential guide to building wealth and securing your family's future. Invest in your legacy. Learn more about workshops, classes, and one-on-one coaching at dgrealtyadvisors.com. Are you ready to create more harmony in your home and connect with your kids on a deeper level? Molly Rubish, life coach and blended mom of 4, joined us to share her powerful insights on balancing energy in your home. Now you can take it a step further with her free guide, 5 Steps to Create Balance in Your Home. It's packed with practical tips to help you become the calm, loving presence your family needs. Download it now and start transforming your home today. Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yay, I'm super excited to share all about the amazingness that you have been creating in your town and in your area. Why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
My name is Melissa Carrington. I am a real estate agent here in Hamilton, Ontario. I'm also a real estate investor. I am a mother of 2 beautiful little girls, and I am a multi-business owner with my co-working space in downtown Hamilton.
Mhm. So many amazing ventures. We're going to have to start from the beginning of sorts.
Yeah,
Tell us how
absolutely.
you got into doing this and balancing raising children, being a mom, all of the things, and creating such a big impact in your community.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, it was difficult, and you don't really realize what you're doing when you're doing it. But looking back, I started investing in real estate in 2020. Right, I closed on my first property a week before the world shut down, where there was no longer any trades, getting materials were difficult, and everything like that. So. It was a lot of like just buckle down and do it, and finding support through friends and family to help with the children while we were getting this done, because we had to roll up our sleeves and do everything except for the electrical and plumbing ourselves.
Yeah.
um, so that's how I kind of got started, and then during that I kept picking up new investments and doing flips and rentals and all those things. And eventually I was like, you know what? I think it's just time for me to get my real estate license. And I'm enjoying this process. And it's time for me to help to share this with other people, and specifically women that may want to get into it, but it's a very male dominated industry. So I really wanted to be able to share that with them and kind of give them the tools and, um, you know, confidence that, if I can do it, you can do it. Like, so that's kind of how it all started. And once I became an agent, I just started to slowly build this community around me. And it was quite interesting to see how many people were interested in it, and mostly women are
Yeah.
interested in it and want to be a part of a community, and are now looking for those communities since we went through the whole COVID fiasco.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's exactly what I was going to lead with is what a story to have started right in the thick of the pandemic and to have continued on and not only continued on, which is a huge feat, but to
Yeah.
have been successful and to have taken the time to empower women in the process as well. As you're growing, lifting other women up and showing them that it's also possible. And you've been able to accomplish some incredible things. Please toot your own horn and tell us you've received several awards. Tell us more.
Yeah, this is the part that I struggle with is tooting my own horn.
Yay.
Um, so yeah, I've been able to kind of grow in a very short period of time. Like I said, I got my license afterwards. So I've been about 3 years now, and my first year I was named Rookie of the Year, which came to a huge surprise as well. And then I was named influencer, one of three influencers of RAB, which is our board, which has now amalgamated. Not that everybody needs to know that. Uh, which was amazing. And I was recognized during Women's Week as an industry leader in that aspect. And then most recently, I was awarded 40 under 40 for Hamilton, which was incredible. So very honored and very, yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Congratulations on paving the way and also showing others what is possible and not giving up. That it takes a lot. And I love how when I first asked you, you were like, well, it hasn't been easy. It's
Yeah,
very
no,
important to say because when people see the awards and they see you, doing these things, they think that it's overnight. And obviously there are challenges, which brings me to the question, what were some of the biggest challenges that you have faced? Mindset, maybe lack of support. The pandemic was one of them, obviously, but tell us more.
yeah. All of the above.
Okay.
Um, so it's hard because so mindset wise, it was a fear of imposter
Mm,
syndrome, like definitely 100%. I think like we all struggle with that, especially when you're considered new in the business, which technically I wasn't because I've been investing for so long. I had that history of it and of putting my money where my mouth is,
yeah.
but I still struggled with that. And then trying to balance like being a mom and making time like having that work-life balance, especially when you are a workaholic, which is not a toot of my own horn in any way that way, because we need work-life balance
Yeah.
and we need to prioritize our families and our downtime and our own mental health and all of those type of things. So struggling with that balance. Well, and in the different phases too, because as your children grow, they need more support or different type of support, or their schedule changes, their commitment changes, and so do you. So it's a constant battle and juggling of that. And then I always struggle just trying to like keep to what I know to be true to myself and being very authentic. You kind of see what other people have done to make them successful, and you are like, oh, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that. But it's kind of pulling you off the path a little bit. And I found every time I just came back to being myself and doing what I love and doing what I felt would make the biggest difference in my business, in my life, and all those things. I found that kind of always worked out better for me than trying to do what somebody else was doing. And I feel like we are all victim to that with social media
Yeah.
and only seeing the good things out
Mm.
there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
comparison is definitely a struggle. And thank you for being vulnerable and honest about how things change with time. It's not like you master the balancing and it's all good forevermore, especially when you add kids in. How old are your daughters?
12 and turning 11.
Okay, so yeah, you've been through some phases there, and I have one girl myself,
Oh,
and it's very interesting how they
how old is
mature.
she?
So she's 8. How they
Oh,
mature quickly, and you're dealing with things that you didn't think you were going to have to deal with for a few years, and it's like start manifesting kind of sooner
yeah,
than
absolutely.
expected.
And I do think that it's a little bit different. Like I think in every generation, it's always been different raising children than in the generation before you.
Yeah,
But we are very focused on their mental health. We are very focused
that's true.
on, how they're developing and all of these things. And then as soon as you have like one my oldest has severe high anxiety.
Mhm.
So that was a whole process to kind of go through and take time away. And a lot of people like it's very it's different and it's a lot more hands-on than getting reminded where our children were at 8 at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
on a Friday night.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a whole thing for sure. Tell us how community has been a huge support for you, and building a community has been helpful and something that you encourage people to do to advance and to not give up.
So I think it all comes down to the fact that like everybody wants to have it all.
Mm,
And the the realization of it is that you can't have it all unless you have support in place. I don't think it's unattainable to have it all, where some people are like, no, you can't have it all, you have to pick and choose. I think it's possible as long as you have the support in the community behind you. And that means, your core circle of friends who, you can call on at any moment and they're there to support you. You're there to support them. It's different communities within your network, built of like-minded people. That you're there to help and grow with each other. Like nobody can do everything on their own. It's that hive mindset of there's enough out there for all of us. We don't need to compete over it anymore.
right. So true. And is this one of the main reasons why you then started the co-working space is because of your understanding of community? Can you share a little bit more about that initiative and how you feel like that's beneficial for entrepreneurs and people to build community?
Yeah, so when I first acquired this building, I actually didn't really have a plan for it.
Okay.
This isn't a fantastic opportunity. It's going to be something great. And I just don't know what it is yet. So as we're going through the renovation process, because it was a full gut job, ripped off the roof,
Whoa.
built a whole new level. It was a 2-year construction project where I learned a ton and worked with some really great people, and then also worked with some really not great people. And the
Lessons.
yeah. And those not great people kind of pushed me in the direction of because it was men who wouldn't listen to my input, even though I was the owner. It was them talking down to me, not knowing, thinking that I knew what I was talking about, and kind of pushing me to the side, and all of those things that come with being a female in a male-dominated industry. And I, for one, just got sick of it one day. And we were building these offices, and I said, you know what, that's it. I just want women businesses that we can support and help through that process, by giving them a safe space where we could network within each other, and really just support each other growing our businesses.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how this entire thing came about. And I am blown away by how it actually came together in the end. So,
So
yeah.
you're telling us that it's okay to jump into something without knowing all the details because you acquired the property.
Absolutely, absolutely. If if everything makes sense, there's potential in there's if the buy makes sense, if we're talking from a real estate
Yeah, yeah.
perspective, if the buy makes sense, the property has more than one potential.
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely. And then figure it out as it goes. You don't have to have in business, in life,
Yeah.
in everything in general, you don't have to have everything planned. You have a guideline, you have a direction, and you go with it. And I find that it is less stressful that way. Expectations are different, and you don't even realize how you're succeeding. And one day you just look back and be like, wow, look at what just happened. Look at what I just did. Because you're ready to act and just jump in feet first,
Hmm.
without having all of the ducks in the row.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that you said from real estate perspective, but that's business and that is life, right? Usually we stop ourselves because we think we need to have all the details and have everything figured out, and that's generally not how it works, or I would say maybe 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Just
I
get
mean,
into the leap.
yeah. I firmly have the belief that people can do anything, absolutely anything.
Yes.
It's just your commitment to it. And I don't think personally, I don't think that there is failure unless you stop trying. So something might come up that's a setback. Yeah, sure. But you can pivot and it will work out. Just keep going.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Would you like to be my next guest on the Empowered Woman podcast? Do you have a story you'd like to share? Want more visibility for your business on a show ranked in the top 0.5% in the world? Well, then head on over to martasburke.com/podcast guest for more information. Yes, 100%. Thank you for that encouragement. We can't hear that enough, right? Just keep going.
Right. Just
There
keep
are some
going.
not so easy days, and we need to be reminded of that. And that's where the community comes in handy too, to remind us of that. Okay, so you mentioned real estate. Quick tip there of if it makes sense, jump into it. And also the fact that it's a male-dominated industry and you're making an impact there and expanding your team. Tell us more about that, about, empowering other women, adding to your team, obviously your local team in Canada, but tell us more about the whole women empowerment and adding more women,
Absolutely.
empowering women.
So real estate in general isn't the male-dominated industry. It's the construction side of it
Okay.
and the investment side of it that I find is more
I
male-dominated,
see.
especially with the trades and everything that you're
Mm.
working with. The real estate side of it, we're pretty balanced,
Okay.
which is nice. It gives a lot of opportunity, but that doesn't mean you don't have those same encounters, which I have had. The Sorry, what was the second part of that question?
Well, and then in empowering women, adding to your team, showing them what's possible, expansion.
Yeah, so I recently decided that I was going to start taking on agents under me and start
Okay.
expanding a team because of what I've seen and what I've experienced working with the community and working with women. We are just so much more powerful as a collective than anybody realizes. Um, Being able to accomplish so much more in such a little time. And I'm very excited for that. And I'm looking for women who in the business who want to work together and want to expand and lift each other up in a very supportive manner. It's very exciting.
Mm.
Just hired my first. So
Oh, congratulations. That's a big step.
yeah, absolutely. So um, yeah, just looking for another way to kind of continue on this empowerment movement.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I don't typically I don't know if I've ever had a realtor or a real estate investor on the show, especially not recently. So I think while I have you, might as well have you share with us what is exciting about this profession and this line of work for somebody that may be considering it, and also some encouragement for those that are already in the thick of it.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people think it's a lot easier than it is. I think
Mm,
it looks very easy from an outside perspective. And then when they get into it, it's a bit harder than they were thinking and they give up pretty easily. Um, if you stick to it and put in the time and put in the effort, and build your own community, the rewards are like triple fold.
mm,
Um, because you get the community that surrounds you. You have all of these opportunities in front of you that come up, and people will generally want to support you, but it is a harder start. Um, and if I think what's so exciting about it is that you get to work with people you want to work
mm,
with. Um, you're in charge of your time. You have the complete autonomy for it. And you get to align yourself with people you want to work with. Um, you get to spend that time with your family. You get to decide what level you want your business in, what makes sense for you, what is your life by design. And you get to design it, which is amazing. My biggest recommendation for anyone joining and wanting to get their license is if you're thinking about it, do it now. Like, don't wait. Like, I debated it for a few years before I did it. And I'm like, what was I waiting for? If you have the opportunity to do it now, do it and start, putting in the hours.
Yeah.
Find someone who you want to be like as an agent and who you admire and ask to join them.
Mm.
Um, you don't have to work with a specific team just because they are the biggest in the area if their values don't match up with yours.
Right.
You're not going to get any further ahead with them because what they do is not going to align with you.
Mhm.
Um, and if you want to do it on your own, I believe you can do it. It like absolutely.
That's great advice.
Be resourceful. You
Yeah,
got.
percent. Well, and that's one of the things you said earlier is I believe anyone can do anything. It's just a matter of what they're willing to do, right? To get it and their level of commitment. And
Yeah.
especially as entrepreneurs, we get to decide what kind of business we have because it's literally in our hands, which is a blessing and a curse in some ways.
Right?
Our responsibility, right? So we can't blame anybody else. It's really
Exactly.
lay in our hands. What about some encouragement or some tips for realtors out there that may be struggling? They already have their license, already working on, and like you said, it's not easy. It looks easy, but you gotta keep going.
Okay, so I do see this quite often, and I think it's because they're on that I'm watching what other people are doing and trying to uh, mimic what they do, but it's not working for me. And there's a reason why it's not working for you is because you are different than them.
Yeah.
Yes, there are people that you are going to align with, and yes, there are methods to use that work. Uh, but not everybody is made the same way. You need to find out what your strengths are and you need to lean into them. And you need to lean into them for a while.
Mhm.
Don't give up after the first 3 months. It'll take, 90 days at least to start seeing anything. And keep to it and just keep refining everything. Um, I will 100% say build your community
Mm.
because that is what is going to support you, and that's what's going to make it easier down the road for you to continue with being able to now kind of step back a little bit and enjoy the life that you have designed. Um, and if you want to build a community, start small. Start with the easy stuff. Start with your personal life. Create a small group of women, or not women, of whoever's listening to
Yes.
this, your like-minded people who are interested in the things that you're interested in, and build a community. And then, go to the workplace and build a community there. Find people who you resonate with, who have the same attitude towards, life and work in general, and you know, meet with them every so often. Go out into the community and, don't be shy to introduce yourself to the business owner that you love their store of, and invite the new person at your child's activity to
Yeah.
come out with, when the group's going out, invite them to come
Yeah.
with.
Mm.
That's how you slowly build your community and find those people who are, like you, who will support you and who want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, this is such great advice. And I'm going to reflect some of the stuff that you said in the beginning that was, this applies to anyone, not just realtors. By the way,
Yeah, no,
it's so
absolutely.
valuable about why isn't this working for me? Well, the reason it's not working for you, it's because you're different. You're not like everybody else, and it's going to take you leaning into your strengths, and not just for a couple days, but for several months, to see what comes out of it and to gain that clarity. The clarity will come with action. And this last bit of invite somebody that you're talking to in a child activity or somebody in a coffee shop, right? I mean, it's just the basics of human connection. Start building that community, and it's not going to build itself. You're going to have to reach out. You're going to have to put yourself out there, and it's scary too. What if they say no, right? What if they're like, why are you inviting me for this? That's why we don't step out. But being an entrepreneur is all about
But I'd like to say, you know what, that's okay though. They're not meant to be a part of your community
exactly.
if they're not in line with, your like-mindedness and what you guys enjoy to do and all of those things. And just the biggest thing is be out there to support other people. And you'd be surprised. Again, back to the moms or the person who you see struggling with something. If you can take something off of their plate that doesn't cost you anything, go for it. Do it. We're just out there to support each other, right?
So true. What is the name of the co-working space and how does it work? Is it like a monthly membership? In case somebody is local that's listening to us, why not? I do have listeners in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is called Collective Executive Offices, or CEO for short. You can find us at collectiveexecutiveoffices.ca, also on Instagram, Collective Executive Offices. It is we have 6 different office spaces. They are all fully booked for the next 12 months.
Ooh.
The meeting space is still available by hour. And then this lovely media podcast room that you see me sitting in now is also available. So you can create content. You could also use the drop-in workspace if needed, where you could just pop in and get some work done and maybe meet some new people.
That's amazing. Congratulations on being fully booked for 12 months already. That is incredible. And the space looks so cute. I'm sure all of it looks amazing. Well, before I have you tell us how people can connect with you, I already shared about the co-working space, which I love the CEO acronym for. So clever. I'm going to ask you my $1 million question. Are you ready?
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Okay. Melissa, what is an empowered woman then?
Oh, an empowered woman is a woman who empowers other women. Absolutely.
Yes.
I think for a little bit of explanation on that is well, we are all taught by society growing up that women are usually our competition.
Yeah.
And I would like that to go in a completely different way.
Mhm.
We are there to support each other. We understand what we've been through, and why not get to where we're going together?
Yes. That's beautiful. Why not get to where we're going together? Because
Yeah.
it's lonely to
It
be alone
is.
anyway
It is.
if you don't have
And I
anyone.
mean, as entrepreneurs, like usually most of us are either in it by ourselves or with a very small team. And it's lonely, right? Like it's nice to have
So
people
much
around
more fun
you.
with friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your encouragement, your accomplishments, and your amazing advice. So helpful. How can people connect with you personally?
I think the best way is to follow me on Instagram, melissacarrington.realtor. You could also find my websites and the link to CEO there. It's all there for you. You can, I would highly suggest going and subscribing to the newsletter, which isn't going to be your typical real estate
Mm,
newsletter that you would receive. I have a goal to just provide value. So things happening in the community,
nice.
different initiatives happening around Hamilton, and something else that I am working on for the new year, just for the girlies, will be released in the newsletter as well.
Ooh, that's exciting. So all the more reason to go connect with you, sign up for the newsletter, check out the space and all of it. Thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom. This was lovely.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.